Welcome to a brand new live stream. Fingers crossed this is working. Um, been a while since I've done a live stream. Been about 3 months. Um, but I hope everyone's doing okay. Quite a surprise. Live stream really only thought about doing this last night. Let me know if there are any issues in the chat. Um, like if it starts buffering or something like that, let me know. Um, but yeah. Fingers crossed this goes well. We'll probably start. I'll probably get into it in a second. But how's everyone doing? If people are watching, as I said, I know this is um quite quite surprised. As I said, obviously this only released last night. The news about the new Hellfire Murder. Um, I thought I'd start talking about it. So yeah, just making sure I've got everything. Um, sounds good so far. Okay, brilliant. That's all I needed. Um, but yeah, that's all I needed. So with that, I guess we'll start. I mean, as I said, the news about the newest iteration of the Hellfire Gala only dropped last night. Um, so this time, uh, it's not just a Hellfire Gala, but there's also a Hellfire Murder. Now, this is not, although they're talking about this like it's something brand new. This is not the first time anyone has died at a gala. Obviously, we had the Scarlet Witch get murdered right after the end of the first gala by herself. So there's that. And then famously in the third Hellfire Gala, Nimrod fell from the sky and killed many people. So not the first time we've had a murder, but there is a bit of a different spin to this one. Um, which I'll get into now. So, first of all, the covers. Let's dive into the covers. If you can see these covers here, let me see if I can make them a little bit bigger while I'm here. Wrong one. Make this one bigger instead. Come on. Okay, there we go. I hope that's big enough for people to see. I can see comment. Sounds like Brevo is trying to reheat the nachos of the first gala. Well, yes. Um, it's quite an odd like dichotomy to be like, oh, we don't want anything to do with cocoa, cocoa. This is not, we're moving away from that. That happened, but people are tired of that, so we're going back to good old humans hate mutants, but the mutants do whatever they want and bloody bloody blah. But at the same time, also trying to get the best parts, the most popular parts of cocoa at the same time. And I feel like you can't both have your cake and eat it. Very interesting choice from Revolt. But I guess the last one, the Hellfire Vigil, which I ended up I understood the concept. I didn't mind it in concept of like everyone coming together to mourn what they've lost, but some of those things that happened at that vigil just did not sit right with me. Da Dazzler getting arrested, like literally just Dazzler getting arrested and then no one doing anything about it. Just absolutely crazy behavior. Um, but there we go. So, but this one, I don't know, I guess it's an interesting concept. So I guess to break it down, essentially, the Hellfire Club, led by Sebastian Shaw, who last we saw him was in Greymark prison. Let's not forget that that mutant prison is still around, and no one's got rid of it. Um, but he's hosting a party at the Hellfire Club for all the major X-Men. Um, so they all get in there, I guess, costumes, masquerade costumes. So this is while the others have well the main three on Krakoa were very much about like mutant fashion, high fashion. This is like it feels in the most similar in a way, but also the most like I don't know how to describe it. Not fantastical, but the most like avant-garde. Um, but yeah, so they're all dressed up in their different outfits, and then someone gets murdered, and it's like a locked room. They've been describing it in the press release like it's a locked room murder. So obviously, whoever dies is someone in that room. Whoever killed that person is someone in that room. Um, which is interesting. I guess there's a nice mystery element to it. Not the biggest fan of killing off major X-Men characters. Particularly because we know we don't have resurrection anymore, so we'll have to wait like 5, 10 years for them to come back. Not the biggest fan of killing people off, but it is what it is. I do have to say I like that this gala seems to be smaller in scale. Yeah, I guess it's probably good to limit the scope. I feel like maybe the last year's one, the vigil, seemed a bit too like not, I guess, all over the place, but I don't know, maybe limiting it in scope and really focusing in on these core characters might be a new interesting way to go about it. Um, yeah, we'll see. So I guess the next thing, I'll just show the other cover as well, which I love by RB Silver. Um, people in their outfits here. Um, I guess now is the time to go through the different um, different costumes. So let me get those up. Um, what you said, do you think all the characters at the top of the cover, side by Storm, could be part of the new Hellfire Club? Yes, you beat me to what I was going to bring up in a bit. Yes, I think if you look, as Be Cool Kid, you've noticed, if if you see in the middle, like just below the title, there's four characters, um, sort of standing over everyone. Um, and yeah, I think, as it's mentioned in the press release, that out of this there is a new Hellfire Club being formed, which is exciting. We haven't the Hellfire, obviously, Hellfire Club has been quite a significant part of the X-Men since the 80s, but like in the past few years, it's sort of expanded to be more than just the Hellfire Club, obviously with the Hellfire Gala, and it's the trading company, etc., etc. But I guess bringing it back to if we have to go back to basics, why not go back to the standard Hellfire Club? And I guess they're bringing in a new inner circle, which we'll get to as well in a bit. That RB Silver cover is amazing. Still have no clue who the character is below Storm though. Let me just have a look. Do you mean this one in the white? In like the white, the bird mask. We'll get to that as well because I said costumes. So without further ado, let's just get to the costume. Um, so first of all, by the way, all these designs are done by Luciano Vecchio, amazing artist. I love Luciano. I love how he's elevated his style over the past few years. Not saying he was terrible, like 4 years ago, 5 years ago when he did that Iceman like digital comic that just came out in physical, but like ever since he did Resurrection of Magneto and Rise of the Powers of 10 issue 5, like his art has just gone to another level. Anyway, so these are the costumes and their names, I guess. So we've got the wolf, obviously Wolverine, and the Star Jubilee. Wolf makes sense, I guess, for Wolverine, even though Wolverines aren't wolves. Lots of people think Wolverine loves to run naked in the woods with wolves. So, I guess that makes sense. Jubilee, I guess, fireworks, a star. Yeah, that makes sense. I guess she's really the star of the '90s. I guess. Um, so there's those two. Then we have wrong one. Then we have the Fool and the Sun. Again, this one's quite obvious. Gambit, the Fool, uh, Rogue, the Sun. Interesting choice to make Rogue the Sun. Um, I guess the other major element of these outfits is that they often seem to be paired. Most of them are often like paired as opposites, which we'll get to. Next, then we have the Queen, obviously Storm. Um, this design looks really cool, and as we can see on the RB Silver cover that that's a bit more fleshed out there. And then the Devil, which I think seems most likely to be Angel. Obviously, I guess a play, quite funny, quite funny. Um, then we have the Peacock, who is Temper, and the Dove, who's Ransom. Again, this makes a lot of sense. They're obviously in a relationship, so yeah. And quite interesting as well, though, that Peacock's not that this is relevant at all, but like I think the peacocks, the ones that have the most beautiful colours and stuff, are male peacocks. So interesting that Temper is the peacock and not the dove, but I guess there's a nice reversal there. Um, then we have the moon, who is Emma, and then we get to the angel, which is the one, Be Cool Kids, you were like not too sure on. Now, initially I thought that this was Sebastian Shaw. Obviously, he's hosting the event, so it would make sense for it to be him. However, the two things that make me go, probably not. One, this not to be like, this is just how, I guess this is just how I perceive Sebastian. He doesn't, this has a sort of, because of the corset and the thigh-high boots, this has a sort of, I'm not, this has a sort of feminine quality to it in a way that I feel like Sebastian is too masculine, is too homophobic in a way, even though he's like bisexual, but like he's just too masculine and like hating of women to, I think, ever put on a costume that is thigh-high boots and like corset, sort of like Emma style. I think that's just not his vibe. So I don't think it'd be Sebastian. No, that would also make sense as a counter to Angel. As I said, if there's pairs, the devil and the angel obviously go together. Warren, Sebastian, they're both rich people. So it sort of goes, they sort of would go well as a pair, but I just don't think of it because of that. So yeah, my other choice would be if I go to this, the other choice I'm thinking is Sinister because of the. If you look at this cover, and as you just said, Be Crooked, it could be Sinister because I don't know if people can see on the thing, but this their face is chalk white, and there are only hello, hello, can you hear me now? My partner in the other room just shouted that they can't hear me, so just bear with me. Hopefully people, if you can hear me, let me know. If you can't hear me, also let me know. Can you hear me now? Oh dear. Still can't hear me. Oh. Oh no. Is it jittery? Is it lagging at all? No? Hello? 1 second. I'm gonna do a quick remedy. Swap mics. Maybe that works. Oh, you can hear me. Okay. Okay, Be Cool Kid, thank you. I'm swapping the mic though, just in case. Okay, bring that one back. If you stop. Okay, well, we've swapped the mics. I don't know what that was. Sorry about that. The fun of technical stuff. So what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So Sebastian, there's only two people. Not Sebastian, Sinister. There's only two people that I can think of that have chalk white skin that are prevalent. Sinister or Caliban. And even though Caliban is like leading the Morlocks, I just don't think this is his sort of function. I just can't imagine. Um, him being there. So I think it is Sinister, which is a bit annoying. I'm kind of like I'm just kind of over Sinister. Like, can we just give it a rest? But I guess it makes sense when you consider they've set up in X-Men United that his technology is sort of involved in the creation of this new like psychic school. And obviously he was involved in Exceptional X-Men, and Eve Ewing, who wrote Exceptional X-Men and X-Men United, is writing this. So I guess it would make more sense, but I'm kind of tired. Like, why would you invite him anyway? Why would you invite him anyway? Interesting. Also, no, so that's the point. Oh, right. So we'll get back to that. Is why the Hellfire, the new Hellfire Club? Why would you, as Storm and Angel, and as the other person who we'll get to, no spoilers. Why would you let Sinister be a member of the new Hellfire Club? Interesting, interesting. Um, but there we go. So yeah, so I think my guess now is firmly on Sinister. Um, like does Short even like Sinister? No, no one, no one. I don't think anyone likes Sinister at all. Like, and you think in during Krakoa, like he was like the most hated person, and the only time Shaw and Sinister, like they were never even on the same side. Like during Krakoa, obviously Sinister was betraying people left and right, but then Sebastian sort of teamed up with Orcus, who was being led by Doctor Stasis, the other clone of Sinister. But that's like the closest they ever got. So it's not like why would he be invited unless now this is what if it says that Sebastian Shaw invited everyone, but you know what? I'll save that for when we get to who I think who is dead and who's not dead. Maybe I'll get to that. I'm gonna save that, but maybe there's some uh, trickery, tomfoolery afoot. Hmm. Okay. Anyway, back to the costumes. So the moon, the angel. Also interesting that Emma is the moon and not like the diamond. I guess that would be on the nose, but interesting choice. And then we have the butterfly, obviously canon. Um, love this look though. Love this look. The hound, who I'm judging from the red eyes, is Scott. This is some crazy like harness for Scott. Like harness and a choker. I mean, I guess it like also links to like Rachel, like his daughter, but like this is some crazy like crazy thing I wouldn't expect from Scott. He's often so like reserved. So to see him in this like leather harness is crazy, but you know. And finally, we have the cat, who is obviously Kitty, and I got to say her hair in this, yeah, I love that. And finally, the lioness, Betsy Braddock is back. She's currently not in any book. Like the last book she was in as a cast member was X Force, but that ended this time last year. Um, So to see, and she made a brief cameo in the Vigil, but to see her in this, very exciting, and this is an interesting design as well. I've seen people can be a bit confused as to why she's called the Lioness, but that makes sense to me, considering she's Captain Britain, and in as a British person in England, there's a whole motif around like lions, right? So it feels very like it's very like Britannia, UK, like like it feels very like patriotic without being so obtuse as to wear like the Union Jack flag. So it feels, and I wouldn't say patriotic in the same way, but it's like it's a reference without it being so over the top. It could be Cat's Eye. That would be crazy if it was Cat's Eye. I mean, Luciano did draw Cat's Eye in the Vigil as well, so also has purple hair. Um, but that would be crazy. That would be a crazy pull. Um, the moon in tarot makes sense for Emma, but I'm also not sure if Luciano took inspo from tarot cards. Anyway, I have no idea. To be fair, I don't know a single thing about tarot other than what I learned during Ten of Swords. So, yeah, like I know that the Fool often means like I don't even know anymore. I was gonna say, but all I know is like the death card doesn't always mean death. It can also mean transformation and change. Um, does anyone remember when they they were like planning on releasing a Ten of Swords X-Men tarot card deck? Oh, I would have gotten that in a heartbeat, but that never happened because of the pandemic and COVID and stuff. Anyway, so those are all the outfits, and I guess all the main characters. I'm assuming the main characters are these people. It wouldn't really make sense if there's others. So I just want to note a few pairs that are interesting. So if you've got the wolf, which is Wolverine, and then the fact that Scott is the Hound. I think obviously those are quite paired, but interesting choice there. Then we have the so the Fool and the Sun. They don't go together. I was thinking about this. It's like no, Rogue as the Sun obviously contrasts Emma, who is the Moon, which is interesting. I'm like, what does that? What is this signaling? Because I don't feel like they're opposites, or they haven't been portrayed as opposites. So, but I guess are they like the two main mutant leaders now? Like forgetting forgetting Cyclops, and that was the other thing actually as well. The star. I think the star works when you think about the moon because Jubilee is a student of Emma's, and I feel like the star and the moon are all are like connected in a way, and obviously the sun is as well because the sun is a star. But I don't know how Jubilee and Rogue are that. I mean, I know they're on the same team. It's an interesting triad. Um, so yeah, but interesting that. So I think, and with Jubilee, I guess what it is, I don't think she really has like a pair. Like she's the one, she's her and Canon feel like the only ones that don't really have a counterpart. Um, so Rogue, Emma, I feel like contrast, and then the Fool. I guess the Fool as Gambit and the Queen, they're the ones that are contrasting there. As sort of like the Queen is the highest thing, and the Fool is the lowest. I guess that makes sense. Um, in terms of like, and obviously Storm and Gambit are obviously very connected, close friends. Um, and interesting there. In tarot, the moon sort of represents you being uncertain, while the suit represents being uncertain, whilst the sun represents optimism. So that there could be the connection between Emma and Rogue. Yeah, I suppose reading Uncanny X-Men, Rogue has been quite optimistic, and Emma. Well, I'd say Emma's been quite optimistic too, but I guess she's always a bit more jaded. Everything she's been through is quite it's been quite tough on her. So that makes sense. I like that. Thank you for the information again. Haven't done my research on tarot stuff, so maybe I should do that before the book comes out. But yeah, so Storm and Gambit for like opposites, which is fun there. Obviously, the Devil, Angel, and Sinister, and the Angel. I I think I feel more. There's more of an obvious connection between Sebastian and Angel as both rich men, but they're like on opposite ends. Like this is a good billionaire, and this is a bad billionaire. But I suppose Sinister. Like I'm trying to think, what is the like? I guess the main connecting point between Angel and Sinister is Apocalypse, but like Sinister has nothing to do with Angel as Archangel, you know. So that is an interesting, which yeah, is an interesting like obviously the peacock, the dove, that's easy, spells out easy for us. The moon, I said Emma. Emma versus Rogue. Emma with the Rogue. I guess I guess it's less that the sun and the moon are opposites, or that they maybe you could say that they work in harmony. You know, they're very much two sides of the same coin. Interesting that. The butterfly then. Psylocke is the other one that feels like she doesn't really have a counterpart. Not an obvious one anyway, because when we get to the last one, we've got the cat and the lioness, which they feel like two sides of the same coin because cat and a lion, they're both cats. um, but Betsy and Kitty, they don't really. I'm trying to think like what when they've ever been on the same team together. I guess they were briefly on the X-Men 2013 team together, that all-women team, and obviously they were on Utopia together. But I feel like they've not ever really. I just when I don't ever think of Kitty and Betsy having that major of a relationship. So that's an interesting one. I'm like, Um, and and obviously Canon and Betsy are always like in two sides of the same coin, like with each other. But the butterfly and the lioness don't particularly. I'm not thinking of like lions and butterflies as something to be connected. Um, so that's another like, oh, this is where this is where it falls apart. Um, but yeah, Betsy and Kitty really don't have any significant relationship, to be honest. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like going back through. I'm like, obviously they know each other, but I feel like if anything, Kitty has more of a relationship with Betsy's brother Brian. And like other people in Betsy's circle, like I think Kitty has more of a relationship with other people around Betsy than she does with Betsy. So interesting that. Um, would have made more sense for Rachel to be the cat or something as opposed to Kitty. Yeah, I mean, like, understand why Kitty is the cat. I mean, it's a bit like on the nose, really, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, it would have been nice to see Rachel, but I guess Rachel's not. To be fair, it's surprising to me that even Betsy's in this. So, but I guess it makes sense. The Hellfire Club, her and Warren were established to be members of the Hellfire Club before they joined the X-Men, and they're rich people, so makes sense in that way. Um, as a homosexual, which one of the men's outfits are the hottest? Is the hottest? Well, mm, they're all quite they're all quite similar, apart from Ransom's, where it's like a man in a jacket and no shirt, like his pecs, their pecs are just out. Like, okay, Luciano, I get it. Uh, it's tough though. Let me. Gambit looks so silly in his outfit. He does, but I think it suits him. It suits him. I think the fall for him and like this is like it's kind of fun. I can see a lot of these outfits. I can see a lot of these outfits in Marvel Rivals. Not gonna lie, these are so Marvel Rivals coded, whether that be good or bad. But I 100% can see this outfit for Gambit coming in the next year. Um, so yes, okay. But I'll say, and you can have your own thoughts. Actually, let's do that while we're talking about it. Well, who's the best dressed, and who's the worst dressed? Um, the hottest man. I think the more I look at Angels, the less I like it. Um, I'm gonna say I I'm gonna say for the men, I there's something about Cyclopses, but I'm like also like I just don't. This doesn't feel right for me. As like I just don't see Scott engaging. I just don't see Scott in a leather harness like that. You know, I'll need to. Obviously, these are just the sketches. These aren't like the full fleshed out version. So when the book comes out, I'll do a ranking of everyone's outfits or something like that. I'll say actually then I do really like Gambits actually, but it's a bit basic. So I'm gonna say Wolverines, but maybe that's just because his chest is out. But then overall, yeah, I agree. People be cool kid that the men's looks aren't wowing me that much. But again, when have they ever? I'm trying to think back to like the original Hellfire Gala. Oh, I guess Colossus's was nice. Um, but yeah. So I guess the best women's outfit. Storm's obviously really good. Don't think it tops her like original Hellfire Gala look, but nothing ever will. I think if we just accept that fact that we peaked in 2021 and 2022 with the X-Men Red outfit and the Hellfire Gala outfit, then we'll be at peace. Um, Emma's look is nice. I like Psylocke's look as well, like the butterfly drapes, like the way the outfit like flows to be that butterfly um shape. Shape is the word. I also really like Kitty's like very sleek, very like sophisticated look. And I'm probably will enjoy Betsy's as well. I just feel like I need to see it like fully fleshed out, you know? So I'm gonna say also I would say that the angel is quite hot. I would say. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying I think if this was another man, I would be like, yes, this is actually quite like, mm, you know. But if it is Sinister, then you've just lost me, because. But then the thing is, right? I don't think of Sinister as this like beefed up. I don't think of him with this level of bulk. So he's built like Sinister. He's built like Sebastian Shaw, but in the cover looks like Sinister. Like, um, okay, and I EDA's one is nice as well. IDA's one, that's nice. I feel like as the Peacock though, she could have gone a bit more like Peacock. Um, Unfortunately, none of these are topping the Hellfire Gala looks. Could go whatever Gala looks, yeah. You know, best dressed. Okay, best dressed. I'm gonna just say Storm. Rogues is a bit. Hmm. Storm. Emma's is good. Psylocke is good. Kitty's is nice. And Wolverine. I guess those are the top ones. Who's the worst then, though? The worst, I'm gonna say, it is Ransom's. I think. Uh, it is boring. It's very much like Met Gala, Met Gala, and then it's the man. The men turn up, and Ransom is just fulfilling that role. There is always one. I guess, yeah. The worst, to me, the worst are Ransom and Angel. He's just looking like a fool in this red leather outfit. I don't know. Maybe he'll pull it off in person. Again, art really is subjective and really changes a lot of things. Do you remember in the original one where Angel was just in that blue? It has a similar vibe to his 2021 Hellfire Gala look, where he just had his nipples out. He was in a blue shawl, like cloak thing, and he just had his chest out. Yeah, but I don't think they did it. This is definitely an upgrade from last year, which was just boring, like funeral attire. So I would take that. Let me go back to the covers then, just so we can see it in higher definition. Yeah, see, looking at this, Wolverines looks good. Um, Jubilees as well actually does look good. Like the star effect, I don't know how she's done that. but like okay, okay, fashion. Again, Kitty's hair. That is a real. I really like this. Like up to. It's very 1800s. I don't know my history in that way. I'm just like, oh, it's very like olden times. And Storms as well. Storms is very it's very how do I describe it? It gives very much like I want to say Renaissance, but like Renaissance in terms of the history period, like very like like up to big hair, but like big gown. Like it's very like a regal in that old way. And Sinisters reminds me of that one Iceland Gala look, low key. Yes, I was thinking the exact same. That absolutely dreadful, like drag, gender bending outfit where he was in like an ice dress with heels, and then they had corset, but the kid just had his nipples out and like just looked absolutely dread. Oh, don't even. Oh, abs. Get Iceman letting down gay people everywhere. Truly, like it wasn't even camp. It was just awful. Oh, so yeah, I agree. It does make me think of that one, but not to give it to Sinister, but um, his is low key better. Anyway, it looks better like in this design. We'll see on the actual thing. But yeah, low key, oof, flop, flop. Iceman was just a flop. Um, I guess the other thing, talking about Iceman, is it's interesting who is not here. You know, if we go back to this, so it's interesting to think about who is present and who's not. As I said, we've got Wolverine, Jubilee, Rogue, Gambit. They're all, I guess, main characters in Uncanny X-Men. But where's Nightcrawler? Cyclops and Psylocke, obviously, the main characters of X-Men. But where's Magic? Where's Magneto? Where's Beast? Emma, Kitty makes sense because of and X-Men United. But where's Iceman? Ransom and IDA, they're fun, but why just those two? Because then it makes you think, are these the only characters, or are there going to be more that we just haven't seen yet? Because like, why are we just having two of the kids and none of the others? Makes you think. And then Angel and I guess Angel's part of X-Force at the moment, but like Angel and Betsy seem to be like the two inclusions. Oh, and I guess Sinister. They seem like the most random pulls, particularly Betsy because she's not in any book. So then that brings me to the description. Um, or or this. I think this was an account. I don't know. Basically, it's like it was like the explainer for what this event is gonna involve. So let me read it out because I don't know if you can see. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Actually, while we're here, we'll just make it bigger like this. One sec. Description. Make it a little bigger. I don't know if this can be read. If it's too, but we'll just have this here while I read it out. Why not make it this big? There we go. So it reads here. Betrayal in the Shadows. One night, one murder, too many secrets. At an exclusive mouse gala at the legendary Hellfire Club, mutant power brokers gather under a veil of secrecy until Redacted is murdered and chaos erupts. With identities hidden, suspicion turns the party into a tense whodunit as alliances break down and clues reveal a deeper conspiracy. The X-Men's Wolverine and Jubilee race to uncover the truth, navigating shifting allegiances, illusionary doubles, and sabotage security, only to discover that the murder was orchestrated by Redacted to prevent Redacted reckless plans from endangering mutant kind. When the dust settles, Redacted stands transformed, its secrets intact, as Logan and Jubilee grapple with whether to reveal the truth. A thrilling mystery of deception, power, and betrayal. So, my thing here is, who do we think, who, right, two questions. Who do we think dies? Who do we think is the killer? Now, my immediate thought last night, while I was, first receiving the information, was, and this is before I realized that there's probably a new Hellfire Club coming, and I think that's the thing about Stan's Transformed. I think that's the Hellfire Club. Originally, my first thought that it was going to be Betsy, because I thought, well, um, she's not in any books, so she's got the least to lose. And the thing is, I think it said in the press release as well that an iconic mutant dies. And like I understand, you got hyperbole, but not everyone who I I guess most of these X-Men characters are iconic in a way, but I feel like there's some that are more iconic than others. If Sinister dies, no one's gagging. Um, Angel, but no. So I thought Betsy, she is I'd say she's iconic. So I thought if she dies, she'd be the one that kind of is the easiest to square. But considering I think she's part of the new Alpha Club, it's probably not her. Reckless plans from endangering mutant kind sounds how Cyclops feels about Emma for running this school. LMA. Yeah. Um. Yeah. It it does actually. So the so obviously I think people have ruled off people that aren't gonna die. Obviously Wolverine and Jubilee because it it's clear that this was very inspired by Knives Out, right? Clearly Wolverine is the Bene du Blanc, Bene Blanc, Ben is it Bene du Blanc? I was gonna say the Bene Gesserit, and I'm like, no, this is not Dune. The Bene du Blanc, the Daniel Craig of the Knives Out, right? And Jubilee is kind of is in that respect, Jubilee's giving the one that follows him along and helps him uncover stuff, right? So I think they're quite safe. But then it's like, orchestrated by blank to prevent blank. So what if what if it's Cyclops that murders Emma? That would be what a gag. That would be a gag. But then you saying be cool kid that the Betsy fans were right and she gets killed with how much they've been begging to see her again. Surely the Emma fans would explode if Cyclops of all people killed Emma. But again, I feel like there's obviously I don't think it's gonna be as simple as this person killed this person. As it says, um, there's a deeper conspiracy and there's illusionary doubles. So my thought earlier was I wonder whether Sebastian Shaw is is not actually there, and it's this Sinister who transformed himself into Sebastian and invited out everyone. Um, that was my first thought was that he was pretending to be Shaw and reveals himself, and that Shaw was dead. But I don't think Shaw is iconic enough to be. But then, yeah, so that was my first thought. Illusionary double is like, who makes illusions? The ladies' masterminds. Come on now. When are Reagan and Martinique coming back to our comics? Uh, I'm trying to think who else does. I guess Telepath, so maybe Betsy is involved. But then do you think like surely this new Hellfire Club of Storm, Betsy, Angel, and Sinister, surely they wouldn't be the ones. I can't imagine Storm like setting someone up to die, particularly Storm. I mean, Betsy, unless it was Sinister. Um, but like I just don't see any of them dying. Oh, but you're right, there are three telepaths, of course. Yeah, Betsy, Emma, unless whoever gets murdered, it was fake. Like it makes them seem like they're dead, but they're not actually dead. So and the thing is, so Logan and Jubilee will discover who did what, but so maybe it is something to do with the new Hellfire Club. to prevent something from endangering mutant kind. Well, just so many are so vague, I guess in a good way. Like at least I will give him that this is intriguing. Like I'm intrigued. But it's also like so who's like a red herring here? Who's there just to throw off the scent? And who's actually because I feel like plenty of people here are capable of murder. Literally every single person in this room has killed someone. It, this thrilling, yeah. Every person in this room has killed someone. Maybe Ransom hasn't, but and maybe Jubilee. Everyone else though, fully capable of murder, have killed in the past. Um, yeah, Sinister would be the biggest red herring. So maybe he's just there to, but like, oh, but it's just so up his alley. But then, but so, yeah, I don't know. So my first thought was maybe I thought Betsy was going to die. But then my partner Lou, he said, "Well, I think Cyclops is involved in some way. Either he's the one dying or he is the one killing people." And now I'm thinking, I think someone is going to be set up. I think someone is being set up. I think someone's going to die, and it's going to look like someone, but be someone else. Hmm. But like, so there must that. But then my thing is, there must be someone involved that we don't see. Like that's someone that's not on the involved in this page in the list so far. But it would be more interesting if it wasn't. If it literally was these 12 people. But no, at the very end, I feel like we'll get a new Hellfire Club. Filling in the blanks, we'll get a new Hellfire Club at the end with those four in the back. But is that just a red herring too? Interesting. I think I think what okay, a question for the audience. What what would surprise you the most? What would if what combination of killer and killed would surprise you the most? Like what can you just not see coming a mile away, but would also gag you? Like I, I'm not meaning like oh if Ransom dies and Temper kills him like that just seems implausible. I mean just like what would surprise you the most, but you could also see happening, I guess. Um, on honestly, hmm, I think, I think Cyclops killing Emma. Killing Emma feels like something crazy. I mean, I would feel like why would they kill Emma off? But like, they could. It's that's kind of low key what's coming what's shouting to me is like the craziest possibility. Kitty being a killer would honestly gag me on it. Well, I mean she's killed a lot. She's killed a lot recently, you know, like well, I guess at the end of in that final year of Krakoa, but yeah, she sort of strayed away from being the killer, so being a killer. So if she was to kill again, but would she kill under like the orders of Emma? You think? Would she listen to Emma and be like, well, you know, because this is Emma's old, let's not forget, this is Emma's old stomping ground. Maybe she's got a secret plan. Hmm. And let's not forget, Psylocke is there as well. What if Cyclops gets a Psylocke to kill someone? But why would they? Oh, see, but this is the thing. Like, it's just making me question everything because I'm like, well, why would this person kill? And why would they order someone to die? But you never know. I just hope because as we've been discussing this, I'm like, oh, this is a really cool concept. I'm like very interested to see the the outcome. I'm very interested to read this, and because I think this is very much set up in a way that's like, I want to read this, I want to find out. I just really hope they pull it off in a better way than the Vigil last year, because that was low-key disappointing. But yeah, I think, okay, I'm gonna say, but then, oh, maybe Warren gets someone killed. Mm, ooh, it's just like, I'm just stuck. Cyclops wanting to shut down the school immediately and stop it from going further makes sense, but also, would he be that stupid? No, I feel like that's another red herring. Like, I just feel like that's another red herring because, yeah, it's like set up like, oh, this is obviously him, but I feel like maybe it's too obvious. But maybe what's obvious, maybe it's obvious, so we don't think it's that, but it actually is, like a double bluff. But I don't think, why would he kill Emma? Why would he kill Emma? Why would he kill? I just don't see Cyclops being the killer in that way. But maybe Sinister has his hands. Maybe Sinister has like some control over Cyclops again. Who knows? No, I wonder, could someone who's not pictured on the cover be the person who dies? Like, could it be Magneto or someone else? I swear to God, if they killed Magneto, oh my God. If he's not suffered enough in the past 2 years. He comes back in Resurrection of Magneto looking young and hot and powerful, and then not that he's still not, attractive, but like, then he gets old and weak and ill, and it's like, oh, give that man a break. But maybe, to be fair, and I know you mentioned earlier about Glob and Choir. I'm glad they're not there. As the Glob hater, absolutely, yeah. I would throw down. I would, ugh, I would kill Glob myself if I was it. The other thing that's quite funny is that I guess this is, I've never been to a masquerade ball, but like, for these characters, like, surely you can tell who's who. Like, no one's particularly like, when you think about it, no one's particularly like hidden. Like, oh, I wonder who the guy with the red eyes is. Oh, who I wonder the blonde woman with the moon over half her face. Oh, I wonder this woman in gold with a white streak in her hair. Oh, I wonder who that is. Oh, like, who, like, no one is nah, but I guess maybe we'll just have to think that. Hmm, much to think about. Much to think about. Okay, well, I think basically I've gone through everything I can think of. I feel like we've I've gone through everything. I've left no stone unturned. So for for a wrap up, I guess. Um, I want everyone's final final votes on who the killer, who's the killer and who dies. I think my final one, I'm gonna say, I'm still just so torn though. I don't think it's Betsy. I don't think Betsy is gonna die anymore. I think this is the way to set her up to do something now after not doing anything. Hmm. Um. I'm gonna say, thinking about this. Hmm. I think the killer could be Cannibal or, but okay, it has to be an iconic mutant. That's what they said on the tweet when they posted it. An iconic mutant dies. Who's iconic? Ah, this actually, this is such a brain teaser. Um, because I was thinking like, oh, there's not that many that are actually iconic, but I'm like, yeah, Emma's iconic, Rogue is iconic, Gambit is iconic, Kitty's iconic, Cyclops is iconic, Psylocke is iconic, Betsy is iconic, Storm is iconic, like Angel. Jubilee's iconic and Wolverine's iconic, but I know they're not gonna be involved unless it's like a twist where Wolverine, who's investigating the murder, is the murderer. You know. But I also can't see them killing off Ransom or Temper. I feel like there would be that would just be stupid. So I'm gonna say, and there's some deception. Wonder is their definition as of iconic is different from ours, I suppose. Well, yeah, Marvel definitely doesn't think like I think. Because I couldn't see them kill off any of these A-listers at all. Me too, but if they did, I would respect it on a level. I mean, it would depend on who it was. Like, if they killed Storm, oh, we're rioting. Like, you know? But, like, there's a part of me that'd be like, you know what? I respect you for, like, committing to doing something shocking. Um, See, I want to say, just to be a bit, throw a twist, I want to say Psylocke kills, well, I want to say Psylocke kills Cyclops, but thought she was killing Sinister, and then boom, oh, but then I'm like, no, because it says in the description thing that only to discover the murder was orchestrated by Thing to prevent Sandling's reckless plans from endangering mankind. So maybe it was not. So no, I don't think it's Cyclops because I don't think he has reckless plans. He's the opposite from reckless. Hmm. Who is reckless? No one is reckless here. Literally, the only person that you could argue is reckless is Emma and Kitty in for their X-Men United and I for their new school, and I don't think that. Maybe imagine their definition of iconic is like global quiet. Oh, well, to be fair, unfortunately, I do feel like Quentin Quire has become an A-lister. Um, or could someone be killing Shaw? See, that's what I thought initially. Like, what if Sinister killed Shaw and then is replaced Shaw? You know, but that would be boring. I low-key want the person to be killed, like in the like I want them to die while everyone's there, like the knife, like a Knives Out situation. Hmm. All right, my final bet. You know what? I am just gonna go for it. It's gonna be. I don't know if this is gonna happen, but you know what? I'm committed to it. I've low-key convinced myself. Um, because sure, it's technically an A-lister, true, but I'm like, oh, which and again, the like the dubiousness of the Angel character is what's throwing me. But then you're like, maybe it'll be someone from the new Hellfire Club that murders someone. What if Storm like murders? Oh no, she's part. When Storm murders Cyclops. Okay, my bet. Oh, see, but it says orchestrated, right? I'm reading the thing again. It says orchestrated, so it doesn't mean that the person who kills them, like, like they could be on the order of someone here. Could Angel murder someone here? He is technically the devil. Yes, but what could he murder Emma? Like, I feel like I'm like trying to think of who's reckless, but the only thing I keep going back to is like a circle. I'm just like, probably Emma is like the only one that could be perceived as reckless. I don't think Rogue is being reckless. I mean, she's not doing anything. So I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna say Angel orchestrated the murder of, you know what? This is my thing. Angel orchestrated the murder of Cyclops, and Betsy, Betsy did it. Or maybe Psylocke. Now I'm torn between, because the one thing that also tells you this is that when the dust settles, Blank stands transformed, Hellfire Club, its secrets intact, as Logan and Jubilee grapple with whether to reveal the truth. So clearly it's someone they haven't been getting along with. Who have they not been getting along with? Cyclops. That would make them hesitate. I think so. I'm my final guess. This is my guess for now. We'll see. We'll revisit this in July when this comes out. That Angel orchestrates the murder of Cyclops, and maybe, okay, maybe he uses Sinister to get Psylocke to kill Cyclops. Or no, I'm either torn between Betsy or Canon, but I'm gonna say Angel orchestrates the murder of Cyclops. That's my final guess. Because as well, Cyclops just is having a mini right now, and I feel like oftentimes if when they murder someone or kill someone off, they do like a big thing with them beforehand, and I guess him having his own mini series is a way. So my final guess is that Angel somehow, I want to say I want to say Betsy, but Angel somehow murders Cyclops. That's my final guess. I'll take everyone else's final guesses. And then we'll leave it there because we've done this for an hour. Thank you so much for staying with me this long. Um, but yeah, my final guess is Angel. Angel murders Cyclops in the library with the pipe bomb. I don't know. Was that an option and clue? I don't think so. Um, that guess seems the most plausible. Yeah, you've helped convince me that Angel is the one, and he's murdered Cyclops. Because I don't know. I guess whatever they're doing is. I guess you could argue that Cyclops is trying to endanger mutant kind by trying to tear down the school, the new school. I guess maybe they see him as the like threat, and I guess it would kind of be a gag if like one original X-Men turned on another original X-Men and killed him. You know. And then I wonder whether not everyone, not like I wonder whether maybe Storm doesn't know. I wonder whether, but then I wonder like because I feel like Storm is too moral, too righteous to like allow that to happen. So I wonder whether at least initially she doesn't know who killed Cyclops or that it was orchestrated by Angel. Because why else? I don't feel like she would join them under that like if she knew. So I'm gonna say Angel murders Cyclops somehow in the Hellfire Club, and then he forms the new Hellfire Club, and they have their own plan. But like, surely they can't be all evil. Like, I just can't see Storm being like evil in that way, you know? So yeah, that's my theory. Be cool, kid. Have you come? Do you wanna? Have you got? Have you got any ideas, or are you agreeing with my theory that it was Angel killing Cyclops? Or have you got any other like point like second place ideas? Um, but yeah, that's I feel like that's what I've settled on now. I've convinced myself that this is what it is. Um, but yeah, I agree with your theory. Okay, okay. Um, you've helped me convince me fully. When I can't wait for July when this comes out, and we were way off, and it was Rogue murdered Rogue murdered Emma with a punch to the face. You know, And they're nothing to do with the new Hellfire Club at all. But they must be. They must have some involvement. But yeah, Psylocke in there somewhere. Yeah, I feel like maybe Angel uses Sinister, or Angel uses hmm, Angel uses Betsy, and then murders Cyclops, and then uses Betsy to try and just hide the truth. But then Psylocke, there's just so many twists and turns. We'll just have to wait and see. But I've fully convinced myself of this. I've fully convinced myself that this will be good. Will it actually be good? Well, that's the thing we'll have to find out together. But I have hyped myself up for this Hellfire Gala event. Um, Maybe my expectations are going to be too high, and I'm going to be so disappointed. But I'm fully ready for the X-Men, the Hellfire Murder, which is coming out the 22nd of July, I want to say. So let's all keep a note of that. I'll be sure to maybe do a live stream or maybe do a proper breakdown. I will either way, and we'll discuss it. And we'll also, once the full thing is out and I get full things of the costumes, we will do a ranking. I will do a ranking video or something of all the costumes. Some of these are good, some of these are bad, as always. But I think that's everything. Is there anyone got any last words they want to share before I go and leave us to it? When someone else gets abducted by Greymark in this Hellfire Gala 2, LMAO. Yeah, I mean, imagine. Who would... The thing is, though, I'm so confused at why Sebastian, just to bring it back to the Greymark, why is Sebastian hosting this if he was in prison? Like, did they let him out? Anyway, who would get abducted? When Temper gets abducted. I feel like it'd either be Temper or Ransom if they did get that. But really, that needs to be gone. Why don't we kill the Grey Malcolm prison? Anyway, on that note, I'll leave you to it. Thank you so much, Be Cool Kid. Thank you, Lou, for watching. And if anyone else has been watching, if you've been watching either live or if you're watching this in the playback, thank you so much. Um, Keep an eye out, I guess, for more. If there's more information, maybe I'll do another live stream. Um, but yeah, I think that's everything. I hope you all have a great rest of the day, your evenings. Um, Take care and be safe because you never know who might come to murder you, I guess, at a party. If you ever go to a masquerade ball,